Hello and welcome to this News Mobile special. I have someone who is very well known, Ambassador Rajiv Dogra. He's an old friend and also very distinguished Indian ambassador. He has served in Pakistan for a long time, a strategic expert. Ambassador Dogra, thank you for coming to News Mobile. It's a pleasure to have you over, sir.
It's a pleasure and pleasure to see technology at work in the best possible way.
Thank you so much. You know, we are talking at a juncture when, despite the fact that a new government has taken over in Pakistan, nothing seems to be changing. On the contrary, every day we see on LOC firing from the other side, our brave hearts, soldiers are dying. What do you read? What is the reason? Why a sudden spurt of violence from Pakistan?
Well, Pakistan refuses to mend its ways. It knows that only if it is a nuisance, the world will pay it respect, more than respect, hafta. So Pakistan, if it loses, let's say America, it goes to Saudi Arabia. If it loses Saudi Arabia, it goes to China. Someone or the other is always there to appease it. More than the money, India is the appease master for Pakistan. It may not be giving it money, but it is giving it even more precious resource like the Indus waters, where it is starving and its own thirsty people and letting the entire water flow into Pakistan. But much more important than that is the loss of human lives. Today, unfortunately, they are killing our soldiers and officers like clay pigeons. Their snipers shoot from 2 kilometers, 1.5 kilometers away and pick our soldiers and, as I said, officers at will. This has a hugely demoralizing effect. So the issue is, when will we wake up? Because Pakistan has been doing this for the last 70 years. We have not retaliated except once in 71, when I know it for a fact that after 71, the Pakistani soldiers were so demoralized that no Pakistani soldier for nearly 5 years went out in bazaars wearing a uniform. Today, they have 76-inch chest out.
So you don't think that a surgical strike has helped in actually sending a message out to Pakistan that India means business?
Well, I would not like to get into a political debate, especially at this time when elections are around the corner. But the fact is that strategic experts, especially those dealing with defense matters who know much more than me about the so-called strikes, have had their doubts. So I think there is a point beyond which we should not go about thumping our chest on an issue which is not the first time that it has happened.
True. And what about, you've served in Pakistan, Ambassador Dogra, and you especially in very difficult circumstances, you served India's best interests. Now, as you are aware, that Indian diplomats are being harassed, they are being tailed, which is a normal thing. But more than that, the electricity was cut at a senior diplomat's house. How does India deal with these things? Because these are provocations.
The fact, Saurabh, is that India is not dealing with these things. And that is why every time we keep quiet, sit back in our chairs and hope that this too shall pass, Pakistan gets more encouraged. I do not recall any time when our High Commissioner has been troubled in the way he has been troubled in recent months. And that is a shame, because Indian High Commissioner carries the Indian flag. Absolutely. So troubling him means troubling India. That's a message we should not tolerate. How dare a small country like Pakistan poke a finger in our eyes at every turn?
And do you see a definite design by the Pakistani military establishment, and it's all a ploy that there is a civilian government led by Imran Khan now? It's all being done at the behest of the army headquarters in Rawalpindi.
Saurabh, you know Pakistan much better. I'm surprised you called him Imran Khan. He is better known as Taliban Khan. So Taliban Khan and the Pakistani army, there's hardly any difference between the two. Imran Khan is just a mask which Pakistan army is wearing today. And look at the way Mr. Sidhu was made use of by the Pakistani army chief. Before Imran Khan's swearing in, the Pakistani army and ISI had chalked out the plan as to how to trap Mr. Sidhu into an embrace. It was a calculated move, and also about the so-called passage to Guru Nanak's final resting place. So it was not as if it was off the cuff. Every single step was planned, and we fell into that trap because what Pakistan wants to do is prepare the ground for referendum 2020, and I think we are not giving it the seriousness that it deserves.
But do you get a sense that, as you rightly said, that we somehow suffer? I always feel, and I've covered Foreign Office for a long time, that we suffer from this disease called diplomatics. Sometimes we really want to please Pakistan, no end. There are peaceniks who want candlelight marches. There are people within the establishment also who feel, oh, Pakistan is a different kind of animal who can be dealt with in a normal diplomatic way. I'm sure there must be a way to deal with Pakistan. What, according to you, is the most effective way?
Well, I think the best I can do is to recall the words of a Pakistani lady who was a member of the civil service, and post-retirement she was the head of a strategic institute.
Yeah.
And she was very candid at one conversation we had, and it went something like this, and this was in Karachi. So I had gone for a meeting where she was also there, and she seemed to be out of breath. I said, what happened? She said, I'm just coming in from Lahore, and there were these candlewalas who would come there from India. And the first thing they did on reaching the Lahore airport was to kiss the mitti of Lahore. And they said, this is the mitti we hanker for. So I said, Acha, so that means there are good things in the offing. So she said, वो जब मिट्टी में मिल जाएंगे ना, तभी कुछ हो सकता है. So all this, starry-eyed, bright-eyed look at things when everything is dark around you is fooling ourselves. No one is. The fact is that Pakistan is pushing you till the very end, and we are used to being pushed. We like being pushed, and often our Pakistan policy verges on flip-flops. We bend over backwards one day, then we try to sit up, and again Pakistan pushes. We bend back and try and appease it one more time. That thing does not work in present age.
Absolutely. What, according to you, I'll again repeat my question, if you were to spell out an effective policy to deal with Pakistan as it exists today, the military establishment, what is the best approach for India to adopt?
Well, firstly, I hope the military option does not ever arise, because we are both nuclear power states, and you never know when things escalate and where they go on. But at least we can do something to protect ourselves, and let us start by protecting ourselves in terms of our water needs. Why is it that for the last 70 years, the only time that water was stopped was during Pandit Nehru's time, when he stopped it for 1 month and Pakistan came crying on bended knees? We must use water because we need it. Our people are thirsty, our lands are thirsty, and if we don't divert it now for our needs, then we will have deserts in Punjab, Haryana and Delhi.
But Ambassador Dogra, won't we be then actually antagonizing the Pakistani civilians as well? Because a lot of people in Pakistan, I'm sure you'll understand, still want to have peace with India. It's only a handful or the establishment which does not want peace.
Well, no one is saying that one should antagonize the right-thinking Pakistanis, but do they have a voice? Do they matter? The policy is made in GHQ in Rawalpindi with full connivance of the Pakistani politicians, and I am including every single politician in this.
And you're saying it's all a mask that is there?
It's all a mask. Second, why should my people, why should we be deprived of our minimum water needs? What we are doing, that by continuing with Indus Water Agreement, which was forced on us by the Americans, we are being the most generous water treaty nation in the world. There's no other nation in the world which has given 80% of its waters to a downstream country.
Absolutely. Ambassador Dogra, one of the things which obviously troubles me, and I've said it many times that we have let down the victims of 26/11. We have let down our brave officers, including a diplomat who died in Kabul. There was a clear case where Pakistan was complicit. Even then, the government of India could do nothing, and successive governments. What do you have to say to that?
Well, I think the most unfortunate comment was that Kartarpur Sahib's Indian end of the road was, the foundation was laid on 26/11 anniversary. If we are so insensitive to our own concerns and to our own victims, then what can be a worse commentary than that? So I think first we have to look at ourselves and see whether we honor our dead, whether we are committed to protecting our people, and then we can take the next step. Unfortunately, as of now, we don't seem to be in that position.
Do you see a range of options, including tactical options, maybe a covert, coupled with a coercive diplomatic approach where, because even President Trump has been talking very, very strongly against Pakistan, he has really tightened the screws in some aspects. Do you think that will work?
Well, if you have the will, everything can work. I don't want to spell out the entire range of tactical options which a country has, not just India. Even a tiny country like Maldives was able to stare down both India and USA and continue with the way they wanted. Sri Lanka has done the same thing. Are we so defenseless and are we so muscleless that every time Pakistan wants, it can send 3 people and do a Uri or Pathankot, or 10 people and hold the entire Mumbai city to ransom? Don't we have 10 people or 3 people or 4 people like that? Instead of boasting about a non-venture or a little venture, let us do something which will make Pakistan sit up. And I know it for a fact that during Mr. Narasimha Rao's time, Pakistan had sat up and did much worse. It came begging to India.
Oh, so that's something. Will you like to talk about that? What really happened?
Well, what really happened was that Pakistan was told that enough is enough, and if you continue this way, then you will have to face the same tactics. In fact, one more incident which I recall very clearly is that during the time when Pakistan was doing its propaganda and much worse in our Kashmir, one of the tactics was that Nawaz Sharif would lead a massive protest march to the Kashmir border, the LOC, line of control. And the message was sent that let them come, every single protester would be shot dead. They decided to cancel the march. So Pakistanis are not made of steel. They have to be given a stern message and they understand it very well. Unfortunately, we are always scared that the situation might go out of control. What they are doing it in full knowledge that situation with India cannot go out of control because India is too scared to fire back at us.
Absolutely. As Ambassador Dogra is saying, send them a stern message, hurt them where it hurts. Ambassador Dogra, you are a prolific writer as well. You've written some bestsellers. I remember Durrance Curse, very well, I would say, very widely received. Where Borders Bleed, again, a very well received book. And talk us through the latest one. I believe it's a fiction.
It's a novel,
yeah.
Yes. In fact, I'm writing a novel after, you recall, Almost an Ambassador?
Absolutely. I remember that, and I remember distinctly, even though he says that it's a novel, I know that it has some real characters from the Foreign Office in that. But talk us through your latest one.
Yeah. Well, so this comes nearly 14 years after Almost an Ambassador. And this is set in Mussoorie, and there are 3 friends who go there for a wake. But in the end, that wake turns out to be a long night of, let's say, 1001 nights kind of stories rolled into one night. There are experiences ranging from Botswana to USA and so on, but the essence of the story is the entire range of human emotions, from love to loss to, all the bonding between friends, but more essentially the bonding between a man and a woman. So it's a novel which I think everyone who's either a student or who's, let's say, just joined a profession would find it irresistible, because it's a reflection of everyone's life.
Okay. And does it reflect some part of your life as well? Does it have some kind of a direct inference from what you've observed, what you've experienced?
Well, every story has a bit of your DNA. That is for the reader to discover. But what I can tell you is that there are many interesting bits. For example, do people know where in Mussoorie Devanand had his house, and which red car did he drive in Mussoorie? So you'll find that in the book.
Very interesting. We look forward to this book, and I'm sure you will do as well. Do look out for Ambassador Rajiv Dogra's new book. Stay tuned to News Mobile. Thank you so much for watching us, and follow us on Twitter at News Mobile India. You can follow me on Twitter at I Saurabh Shukla. We will be back with yet another episode with another interesting personality who will talk about issues that impact you. Stay tuned to News Mobile.